Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Flores presents the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast. Today's segment, a review and analysis on Elimination Chamber 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Mark Flores, host of the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast, Retro Collecting 101, and the very hilarious Mark and Andre's show. You can find all of those shows available on iHeartRadio and Spreaker.com. Tonight, I'm going to be reviewing Elimination Chamber 2017, and wow, this pay-per-view is actually one of the mid to low tier pay-per-views that actually surprised me this year of 2017 and of 2016 last year as well. There's a lot to go over, and I want to make sure to cover everything as much detail as I possibly can. So I'm going to be going through these matches rather quickly, but explaining them with the best of my ability here. So the first match that we had opening up Elimination Chamber 2017 was Mickie James versus Becky Lynch. Personally, I thought this match was great overall. It's another one of those matches post-retirement that Mickie James had going into the WWE that was another excellent one. She can still hold her own despite being a little over the hill in terms of women's wrestling career age. She did it. She did it in this match, and she's done it in the match with Asuka. She is definitely a master of the ring psychology, and being a master of ring psychology in the women's division is definitely a plus. You can have wrestling ability, but you can lack promos. You can lack promos, but have great wrestling ability, vice versa. But with Mickie James's case, you're able to have a mixture of both things done very well. So in terms of Mickie James versus Becky Lynch, I think it was great. I thought that this match was definitely one to reflect the abilities of Becky Lynch and Mickie James, because this match had a very similar pace throughout the match from start to finish, and that's hard to do, and that's hard to replicate nowadays in today's WWE. Sometimes you get off on a hot streak, and then you need to do a breather spot, and then you have to slow it down. With this match, it went right down the middle. It wasn't too fast, wasn't too slow. The only thing I felt like this match was missing was a little bit more storytelling, a little bit more ring psychology, but with what Mickie James can do, she can tell a story in the ring. Becky Lynch doesn't necessarily have that skill yet because of the fact that she is still new to the game. She's still learning. And with Mickie James, it's good that she was able to have someone as experienced as her inside the ring, because as to my knowledge, I don't think Becky Lynch has ever been in the WWE ring with anyone as experienced as Mickie James is. So, good benefits to this match overall. Having Mickie James lose, though, to Becky Lynch, it hinders her momentum, but what she is right now, this now identifies her role as an enhancement talent. She is the older superstar putting the younger superstars over. And that's not bad to be. That's not a bad spot to be at all, especially in these days with WWE as well. Other than that, it was a great opening match for the Elimination Chamber, and it's one out of the 3 matches that Elimination Chamber had that featured WWE Divas. So it was definitely a great first to open up 2017 for a SmackDown pay-per-view in this type of fashion with Elimination Chamber 2017. The next match we had was Dolph Ziggler versus Apollo Crews and Kalisto in a 2-1 handicap match. Good start to this kind of match. I thought that eliminating Kalisto in the first part of this match definitely set up how heelish Dolph Ziggler can be. And it definitely shows that, yeah, despite all the talk that he was doing in the previous 2 SmackDown weeks, that he isn't able to take 2 people on at the same time. Thus having himself demonstrate that he's not able to by taking care of Kalisto early on first and foremost. What I liked on in the beginning of the match with Apollo Crews is that he was able to show that he had a vengeance. He wanted to avenge his fallen partner and take that same type of vengeance into the ring. As you see that Kalisto's injured, Apollo Crews looks and walks to the ring in this fashion like he's going to take care of business. But I felt with the type of attitude that Apollo Crews was bringing into the ring, it didn't necessarily reflect what he brought to the ring actually, because in the beginning of this match, for the first 5 to 6 minutes, all you had was a bunch of rest spots, a bunch of chokeholds, submissions, and then you just had Dolph Ziggler wearing down his opponent, and then until Kalisto arrives, and then when Kalisto arrives, Kalisto comes to the ring, gets into the match, and then Kalisto then gives a blind tag to Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews then sets up his sit-down powerbomb finisher to then pin Dolph Ziggler. I don't know how this is going to set up Dolph Ziggler in a match, possibly in a rematch with rematch with Apollo Crews come WrestleMania time, but we can all see in due time what's going to happen. For the abilities that Dolph Ziggler and Apollo Crews have, this match unfortunately didn't match my expectations, because I know that Dolph Ziggler can tear the house down, and I know that Apollo Crews can tear the house down. I've seen what he's done in the independents, and he definitely has this very dense moveset that can pair well with Dolph Ziggler. Hopefully, with a couple matches, hopefully this feud, maybe phase Kalisto out of the feud, but have Apollo Crews and Dolph Ziggler go into WrestleMania season with a feud like this. Maybe that this could be the type of feud that can put Apollo Crews over with the fans. After the match ends, Apollo Crews celebrates. Dolph Ziggler then gets his heat back by hitting Apollo Crews with the chair, getting him down to the position where he puts his chair, lodges it between his ankles, hits him twice with the chair being in between his ankles, hits him twice. And the only thing that upset me the most is that the fans were cheering, "Thank you, Ziggler." People in Phoenix, Arizona, the crowd in Phoenix, Arizona at the Talking Stick Arena, it's unfortunate to have a situation like this, but it's no fault of the people inside the arena at all. It's a matter of booking. It's a matter of booking Apollo Crews in a fashion to where he's not really in the mid-card scene at all. He's more to lower to mid-card, and for his charisma and his ability, I know that he can actually have the potential of a heavyweight champion, but they need to be booking him. They need to book him correctly, and this definitely is going to be a telltale sign to either change the situation that they have going for Apollo Crews by having him win a couple more matches, or to have him flounder in the mid-card scene. I don't know what to tell you on that. I just see a person with tons of potential in Apollo Crews, and with a person as Dolph Ziggler, that Dolph Ziggler is, he can definitely get that going for Apollo Crews. He can be the one to help put him over like that, because we all know that Dolph Ziggler could put on a great match. We all know that for sure. It's just unfortunate to have a situation happen like that. You know, it just sucks, because, you know, like, if you're so heavy on a superstar like I am with Apollo Crews, or like with Cesaro, it just sucks to see people in positions like this. But anyway, this match was below my expectations of what I thought that Kalisto, Apollo Crews, and Dolph Ziggler can bring inside the ring. But it's with the chair spot like this, having Apollo Crews with his ankles off, getting his ankle injured. It looks like he might be taking some time off leading into the WrestleMania season. But with an injury such as grave as that, you might see Apollo Crews take some time off. If not, it's not going to be selling that injury so much. I personally don't think. If you have something as drastic as that kind of spot and then he shows up next Tuesday, that's definitely an issue with booking. Let's go into the next thing with tag team turmoil. I want to apologize to you people listening on the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast who were under the impression that this match was going to be held in the Elimination Chamber. When you look at the booking, or when you look at the match card, and then you have all the tag teams inside the cell as it was being displayed inside the Elimination match card promo, I was under the impression that it was going to be held inside an Elimination Chamber, but nonetheless, it was a good tag team turmoil match. This match had the Ascension, the Usos, Fandango, Tyler Breezango, American Alpha, Heath Slater and Rhino, and the Vaudevillains. This match was beautifully booked. I legitimately thought that the reign of American Alpha was going to crap. I thought they were just going to lose the title then and there, and I'll get to that right now. Every older and experienced tag team did their job by making American Alpha look like gold. I thought that the people that were wrestling against American Alpha, whether it be the Usos or the Ascension, they knew what they had to do to make these guys look good while having the ability to retain their titles. It's good to have talented tag teams on SmackDown like this. I thought the Usos and the Ascension made their presence known within the heel tag team division. And one thing I wanted to mention, as I mentioned on my Twitter account during the live tweets of the Elimination Chamber, I mentioned that the Usos have had this heel run that's been so underutilized, and it can be used to some great potential. I think that their new look, their heel look, is a great look to have. I know that these guys are immensely talented, but to have them not be utilized like this more, it's just unfortunate because this heel run is being vastly underutilized in my opinion. So it gets down to Heath Slater. Heath Slater eliminates Breezango, the Vaudevillains. Then the Usos then eliminate Heath Slater and Rhino, and then so it's up to and then American Alpha shows up. American Alpha then eliminates the Usos. The Usos get their heat back by beating up American Alpha a little bit more, and then the Ascension roll in by that time. And at this point, I was like, well, so you're just going to have the Ascension just come in, swoop in, and take these titles. This was going totally against my prediction, but it was kind of exciting. Having a surprise like this is what WWE is all about to me. If it's not obvious booking and it's a surprise, then that's all good, because you know what? I'm tired, and I know a lot of other people that look into the WWE as much as I do. They like seeing surprises like this, even if it's beyond their expectations, because then it becomes unpredictable. Then it becomes must-see TV, because we're not here analyzing it to its fullest extent. We oversee something, and yeah, another surprise comes along the way. That's great. I think that's amazing to have, especially with this type of semi-predictable type of booking that the WWE has. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. But fortunately, it did happen. The Ascension actually didn't win these titles. American Alpha ended up retaining the WWE SmackDown titles, the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So they ended up retaining. That's great stuff. But I love the rush and adrenaline that I was getting. I think in the Ascension we're going to win. And I was like, well, these guys came out of nowhere to win it. It's good booking. It's something that I mentioned on my Twitter account at Mark F Podcast, that American Alpha needed this type of turmoil within their tag team run to solidify them more as a legitimate tag team babyface tag team. So it's good stuff for American Alpha to have this type of tension and turmoil, like these type of battles within their tag team run, to then actually put them over come WrestleMania season. Great stuff from Tag Team Turmoil. I want to big props to all the tag team participants in that match. That was great stuff, you guys. Then the next match that we had, one of the second out of the 3 women's division matches that we had on Elimination Chamber, Nikki versus Natalya. I thought a majority of this match was great. Both played their roles perfectly. Natalie was a great heel. She did all the nastiest heel tricks in the books. She was putting down the hometown hero, calling out her mom in the crowd, called her a bitch. Great stuff. It was a good job on her part. Great heel movesets by Natalya. Natalya is vastly underrated. The only thing that sucks is that she's been in the league so long that people just say is, oh, it's just Natalya. And that's unfortunate on her behalf, but whatever. I thought this feud between Nikki and Natalya was all started off just to plug the shows. And it definitely is. But it's actually another match on the card, and I didn't have much expectations for this, except knowing that I know Natalya was going to do her thing in the ring, because she's a great heel. She's a great babyface, great heel. Whatever you want her to be, she can do it. I don't think Nikki Bella's really a talented wrestler in my opinion, but that's just me. But she did surprise me with a couple movesets that she had within the ring herself, so she did surprise me a little bit. The ending was a little sloppy. I thought the ending was a little sloppy there, but other than that, this match went over as I anticipated, with Nikki Bella ended up winning with the hometown beside her, rooting her on. So Typical Nikki Bella type of match there. Now let's talk about Luke Harper versus Randy Orton. This match then came on next, and this is the match of the night, the singles match of the night. Two big guys going at it. Luke Harper has a legitimate chance of looking like he's going to win this. Randy Orton trying to take his momentum to WrestleMania. Wow, this match was incredible. Oversized guys stealing the show. By far the best singles match of the night. These guys put on a great fucking match. If you guys haven't seen this match, please go back and see this match before you see the Elimination Chamber match. This match was gold. Randy Orton and Luke Harper probably worked on this match in the dark matches leading up to this moment here, and it is incredible to see. I haven't seen so much back and forth between the two. This is incredible to see. Luke Harper put on a great spectacle. Everyone's going to be looking at this match and be like, wow, Luke Harper can actually throw it down with Randy Orton. A lot of spots on the outside of the ring. You had Randy Orton power slamming Luke Harper on the outside of the ring. You had Luke Harper doing open palm strikes, 2 super kicks to Randy Orton, sit down power bomb by Luke Harper. You also had this superplex by Randy Orton. Keep in mind, these guys are over 6'6". I think Luke Harper's flirting with 6'9", 6'7". These guys are big guys, and this was making the ring rumble. I love this match. These guys, for a card just like this, where you don't have much expectations because you don't really see Luke Harper in the singles matches often, he did it. It's incredible. I liked it. But then you had Randy Orton taking the victory and going to WrestleMania against the winner of the Elimination Chamber. This goes against my prediction. I thought that Luke Harper was going to sneak away with the win, but he wasn't. He didn't actually. And the thing that's unfortunate about it is that Randy Orton has for sure. He just punched his ticket for WrestleMania at the Royal Rumble, and now we have Luke Harper has to take a loss, and now we have to wait till SmackDown to see what happens after that. Kind of sucks, but that's what happens in this type of environment. Randy Orton needs all the momentum he can get leading up to WrestleMania, so we'll see what happens with this. A lot more eyes on Luke Harper now leading up to WrestleMania season. That's great because this guy is vastly underutilized in my opinion. For the things he does at his height and his weight, it's incredible. Definitely go see this match if you haven't. Totally recommend it. Next match we had was Alexa Bliss and Naomi for the WWE SmackDown Women's title. Enjoyable match from Naomi. I personally don't enjoy the title switching as much, but every SmackDown Women's title recipient, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, they've all utilized this title to the as much potential as they had, and it puts them over because these ladies haven't had the title before. So all these people that had it before Naomi, spoilers, and Naomi won this title here. It's great because now it legitimizes them as superstars in the eyes of the general audience. But back to the match, it was an enjoyable match from Naomi and Alexa Bliss. It was a lot better than the match they had at No Mercy. This match definitely showcased what Naomi can do. Alexa Bliss does an amazing job as a heel, being undersized, throwing tantrums in the ring. Like I mentioned before, she is going to be a star, a lot bigger star than she is now. Alexa Bliss is definitely, for what she makes up for, being undersized and with not much of a moveset as a Naomi or Becky Lynch, she definitely shows up with her heel tactics and everything. It's those little things that make a denser moveset. It's the little things that make her more valuable than anyone else on that roster for now. The ending was a little botchy where Alexa Bliss no-sold the split leg moonsault one time from Naomi because she gets right back up and tries the twisted bliss. Either she was supposed to knee it and it didn't because it looked like a fresh finish, but then she rolled over and no-sold it. I don't know if anyone's going to point that out on various review sites, but that's one I definitely saw myself. But nonetheless, still all good because Naomi ended up winning. She did another split leg moonsault to then solidify herself as the new WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Good for her. It's her first title. She's been in the biz for nearing 10 years, decade in the works there. Good stuff for her. I'm proud of her. She has great athletic ability. She's a great promo. She's working on it, but she's a decent promo. I'll take that back. But she's very athletic, and I'm glad that she has the title now because she's deserved it. And if she holds on to the title at WrestleMania, her entrance with the title going into Orlando, her hometown, it's going to be one of the greatest entrances in WWE history. And I know that's a little detail that might go underlooked, but the way she does her entrances with the glowing after effects, etc., she's definitely going to have a hell of an entrance coming into Orlando. Good props to her. Props to Alexa Bliss for putting on a great match. Definitely better than the No Mercy match that they had earlier in the year. So let's talk about the big match of them all. Let's talk about the Elimination Chamber match. The Elimination Chamber match the Elimination Chamber itself looks a lot larger. Not a lot of people are crouching down for the spots at the top of the pods. That's good. Increased risk for the wrestlers trying to do crazier spots. If you guys need a reference to what happened when you launch off the pod, look at when RVD knees Triple H after a botched five-star frog splash. Check that out. But anyway, let's go over the contestants. You had Baron Corbin, first time in the Elimination Chamber, looking to surprise upset everyone and shock the world, getting the WWE title. You had Dean Ambrose, who can reflect that of the Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 6 and hold two titles at the same time, the Intercontinental title and the Heavyweight title. He'd be a two-time champ if he wins it here. John Cena taking his 16-time World Championship run into the Elimination Chamber, I believe for the 6th time into an Elimination Chamber. Still looks great, still can put on moves that still surprise me. His Sunset Powerbomb is very impressive to see, especially of a man of his size. AJ Styles, the man that runs, the champ that runs the camp. It's good to see him do his thing within the ring. He's had the best run of any ex-TNA guy going into WWE because he is the first. Still super fan of his. I like his stuff, and just having him in WWE is the best thing in the world. You should have seen my live reaction when I saw him debut at the Royal Rumble. I went insane. Then we have Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has been going for the last couple of years, being injury prone, being one of the best promos in WWE the last 10 years. He's been doing his thing for the last couple of years, but the thing is that he hasn't taken any solid victories. It's unfortunate, but let's see what happens if Bray Wyatt can actually go into this chamber match, take all that out, get a new slate, and see what can happen. Overall, I thought this chamber match went incredible. To start with John Cena and AJ Styles, beautiful, incredible. But let me bring out one more guy who was the underdog, and he was an odds-on favorite to win this. It was The Miz. And I'm sorry to undercut The Miz like that, but let's get back really quick to talk about him. The Miz has been putting on one of the best heel runs in a long time. If you don't like what The Miz is doing, if you hate The Miz, despise him, you're getting worked, and that's great. He's doing his job. Hell of a guy. I met him in person and just fell in love with the guy. The guy is a great conversation. Meeting him was cool. I thought that meeting him for the first time when I was at the GameStop Expo, it's a cool guy. I had to give him props for his Day 141 promo. The Miz is a great talent. He's one of us. He's one of those guys that wanted to start wrestling, tried out, did it the hard way, and he's doing his thing now in the WWE. The original Rocky, the first James Ellsworth, if you want to say it like that. But he definitely started from nothing to something, and that's good for him on The Miz. And he has a chance, too, to win the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and to have him win it would have been a great surprise because, A, he's an annoying heel, but he's doing, that's how he's booked. But then again, he's earned it by having a great heel run this last year and a half. But let's go back into the Elimination Chamber match. Let's see what we got here. I thought starting with AJ Styles and John Cena was great, alluding to the fact that they're going to have a couple more matches like this, and we're not going to be tired of it because both of these guys can put on great matches. So then it goes on to having Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin's getting eliminated by Dean Ambrose. Baron Corbin then gets his heat back by beating up Dean Ambrose a little bit more, so you can expect Baron Corbin and Dean to go at it come WrestleMania season. And then you have The Miz come out, and The Miz almost lasts a long time, but then he ends up getting eliminated too. So then John Cena himself gets eliminated by Bray Wyatt. So then it's down to AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt. And wow, these, for what Bray Wyatt can't do and what AJ Styles can do, these guys definitely utilized both of those standpoints and made a hell of an ending. The last 10 minutes of this Elimination Chamber match went on great. AJ Styles starts his springboard 450, then he tries to go for the phenomenal forearm. Bray Wyatt then reverses it, gets him into the Sister Abigail, pins AJ Styles clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the Elimination Chamber ring. Bray Wyatt deserves this title. Bray Wyatt wins his first title at the Elimination Chamber 2017. Great stuff for him. He deserves it. He is one of the best promos in WWE. This guy has been one of the most underappreciated talents. He's over. We all know that he's over. If you did not think he was over, you wouldn't be using your cell phone to light up a camera for the flash to help reflect how much you appreciate Bray Wyatt. Everyone in that ring has the ability to not put on their cell phone, but because you're with them, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, because you're with him, you light up your cell phone and reflect that you're part of the Fireflies inside that crowd. And Bray Wyatt looks to that and appreciates it. These last 2 to 3 years Bray Wyatt's had, it's been bad because he's been injured a couple times. He's lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Beat John Cena one time. But his run hasn't been used to the fullest extent. What WWE needs to do is by WrestleMania, at the end of it, disband the Wyatt family. Have Luke Harper do his own thing in the mid card. Have Randy Orton take one more WrestleMania run into the sunset, and that's it. Perfect. I have no problem with that. Randy Orton's done whatever he needs to do in this business. He's a 12-time champ. Let him retire. That's fine. But then have Bray Wyatt set up a program with The Undertaker where The Undertaker is a heel and Bray Wyatt wants to rid of The Undertaker. Book him in such a program where we believe that Bray Wyatt can dethrone The Undertaker. I don't care, at a WrestleMania, at a fucking SummerSlam, something. Have The Undertaker be the guy to take an L from Bray Wyatt, and he has to become the new face of fear. If you use the tagline, the new face of fear, who is the old face of fear? It's not Kane. It's not the fucking boogeyman. It's The Undertaker. You need to defeat The Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, to legitimize your run as WWE champ. I hope the seeds are going to be planted for this. We'll see. But for Bray Wyatt to... No, I'll take that back. WWE booking needs to hit the accelerator with Bray Wyatt. Hell of a promo. Every time he talks, it's totally believable, despite the fact that his gimmick is that he's a cult leader. I'm very proud of Bray Wyatt. I'm glad that he's super over. And I'm just glad that we're able to see someone as good as Bray Wyatt win this title. Because you know what? He's fucking deserved it. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view wrestling podcast. Once again, I want to thank everyone that's been listening to the pay-per-view wrestling podcast. You guys have been great. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the Elimination Chamber 2017 podcast here on the pay-per-view wrestling podcast. Keep in mind, you guys can also listen in on the Mark and Andre show where we talk about film, entertainment, conspiracy theories, and we also discuss retro collecting tips and tricks, retro collecting 101. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you next time, probably for the next pay-per-view or the next wrestling news and updates. I'll talk to you later. This has been Mark Flores for the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast.